Hello, 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 all of my fellow goblins. Barnacle back again for another Let's Play series. This time we're going to be starting with Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls number 3. And our hope is to continue from Morrowind through Oblivion and through Skyrim over the next year. This is going to be a very long played Let's Play. Including all the side quests, not just the main quests, including all the extra content that we've added in the game, and talking to everybody and doing alchemy and getting all of our skills up to 100 and doing all that stuff. My plan is to try to play as close to as possible the exact same character throughout all 3 games. We're going to be playing a young Dunmer archer thief, Imperial agent type character in Morrowind and Oblivion, and then more of an elder Dunmer archer thief in Skyrim, since it's like 200 years later or something like that in the whole space of the world of Tamriel, I guess. So that's the plan. As you can see from here, we are playing with a heavily modded version of Morrowind using OpenMW. You can see down here at the bottom, and it's OpenMW version 0.49, which as of February 10th, 2024 is still in pre-release. It's a dev build, but it seems to be working pretty smoothly, so that's all good. And all of the mods that I've installed, some of them actually require 4.9 or newer, so that's why I installed that one. And I will show you guys exactly the mod list that I got from moddingopenmw.com. And I got that idea from watching a video with Johnny Hostile and Rob, something I can't remember his name, but I'll put the links in the description of the video. And let me just go ahead and pull this up. So OpenMW, or moddingopenmw.com, right? So here are some lists right here, but what I did was I clicked start here, and then I started reading through. Okay, so as a caveat, I have no experience modding, really, right? I've done a few mods in Fallout 4 to get different kinds of clothes sets and weapons and things like that or whatever, and then, you know, the graphics and the bug patches or whatever. But I've never done anything extensive of this with such a big load order that had to be in the right order, or it would kind of be messed up. So yeah, so this is what I did. So I read through this and I kind of just followed everything in here specifically, right? And here's some suggestions, but there's a catalog list right here. And I guess a lot of people like this one, Path of the Incarnate, that one, OpenMW Enhanced. But the video I watched was the 1-day Morrowind modernization. While I was messing around with other things, I kind of watched. The video was 7 hours long to install 105 mods. So while I was watching that, I was like, man, let me go ahead and try out the total Overhaul mod list. 537 mods, which, to be honest, took me at least 3.5 days, maybe 24 hours of actual modding time to get them all set up correctly and all that stuff. So it's not where this was like a 6-hour deal. This was, I'm telling you, it took me 24 hours. But I don't have modding experience, and I was slower, and I wanted to pay attention, and I wanted to do everything the right way so I didn't create as many problems. And I still had a little bit of problems at the end, but those were on me because I copied and pasted wrong. So yeah, so I decided to click on this Total Overhaul 1, and I've installed every single one of the mods in this list. starting with patch for purists, Tamriel data, OAB data, right? All of these consistency, the cut content, Tamriel rebuild is installed, Skyrim Home in the Nords, Solstheim, Tomb of the Snow Prince, so a bunch more quests that we'll be doing. Morrowind optimization patch, right, for all the meshes and performance. Project Atlas is in here. Morrowind enhanced textures. I'm just trying to look for some of the big ones. But you can look, I'll put the link to this one too up there. A bunch of ground cover, foliage, flora, that kind of stuff. A bunch of nature things, waterfalls, different skies, different lighting, cleaned up clutter, all kinds of stuff, right? Armor, weapons, retextures and things like that, right? Better bodies, better heads and better bodies. All that stuff is in here. So yeah. Total of, I mean, and it goes on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Total of 537 when you include Delta plugin, Waza light fixes, and these 10 or whatever are mostly just setting tweaks, not really mods necessarily. And then these dev only ones, I installed all of these too, but that's why I used OpenMW 4.9 or 0.49 because of the issues. These require that, right? 0.49 or higher. Otherwise, 0.48 is just as good. You're just going to leave out some mods. No big deal. And again, without having huge amounts of modding experience, most of these came directly from the Nexus or from MOMW.com, right? So opening the modding OpenMW website, because they either fixed them or took them over or redid them or something like that. So not too complicated. And all the instructions you need, the download links are in here. All the different mod lists that each one of the apps or each one of the mods are attached to. The Nexus description basically of what the mod does. And then what I did was I copied directly the pass that is set in here, and I went back. At first I just downloaded everything that was in the file, but sometimes it would have extra ESPs in there that weren't really used, and it would put extra files in the launcher that confused me. So I went back and deleted out everything except for what is actually required, and it seemed to work out better for me. So that's my suggestion. Unless you have a lot of experience modding or you understand how all that works, then you can leave all those unchecked boxes and yellow triangles and right. But that was messing with my OCD, so I couldn't deal with it. But once you basically do all that, as you go through everything and you get to the final steps, there's performance tips. I did this nav mesh tool thing to preload the nav meshes. I don't know if you're supposed to do it each time before you start or just the one time. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. I've done it once. So, and then I use this CFG generator that's built into the thing, and basically you give it your paths, like the Morrowind's data path and then your mod's data path, and pick which mod list you ran. And if you decide not to run some of the mods, you can uncheck them. And then I ran that CFG generator, and it created all of the paths and everything that I needed for the OpenMW CFG file and the settings CFG file. So I ended up putting all of those. I mean, I just cut and paste that right into there, so I didn't really have to do anything myself. But I was putting the data pass in all along, but because again, I watched that other video. But really, the CFG generator, if you're following it step by step and you're not really making any big changes, you can literally just wait to the end and have this load up everything for you and put it in the file, and then you're done. So Yeah, you're basically, then in that case, all you're doing is downloading the mods and unzipping them and or extracting them into the folder where they are supposed to go. And that's the only thing you have to do. Even all of the individual steps that go through there saying, oh, you have to create some ground cover, or do this or do that stuff in the settings. It actually all came out in the CFG generator for me so far. So I haven't seen any real problems yet. So if I'm missing something, I guess I'll find out. But there are no error messages really in the OpenMW launcher. So everything is good for me. I probably will have to do some more performance tweaks because where I'm not really having any performance issues, but I'd like some of the loading screens are still pretty slow. So I guess see if I can fix that somehow. But again, as a caveat, I have a very, very, very high-end computer to run all this stuff, to run all these mods. So, and I mean high-end, right? I'm talking, I have a 4090 GPU, and I have an i9-13900K processor, 64 gigabytes of RAM, all of that kind of stuff, right? So I'm running on 3 different SSDs, so M.2 SSDs, right? So everything is running pretty good. But I do a lot of streaming and stuff too, so I wanted to be able to play a game like Cyberpunk or something like that was very graphic intensive and still be able to stream and do all that stuff at the same time without there being too much delays. And also we'll be playing the game in 1440p whatever. I guess the recordings will probably be 1440p 60, but really I'm maxing out at 300 FPS, but probably averaging somewhere around 150. And in a heavy area, I could drop down as low as 60, but I haven't seen it below 60 anywhere, except for like in a loading screen where it's taking forever to load for some reason. But that being said, this is everything there is about the mods. If you guys have any questions about that, put the questions in the comment section below the video and I'll try to answer them as best I can, or I will direct you to Johnny Hostile right here. He does a lot of stuff on Twitch and moves his videos over to YouTube as well. The video I watched with him and Rob was the reason that got me excited about trying all of this stuff. So there's that. I'll list that video as well as this website down in the description. And yeah, this is technically episode 00A alpha. We'll have a B beta episode, another short episode next, where we just talk about the character background. And then we'll have a third short video where we will get off the boat, do our character creation, run through the census and excise, whatever, tax office. And then in episode 001, we'll start the game right outside of the office before we talk to Dagoth or any of those people in the game. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the comments and likes and all of that stuff. All the community interaction is great, and that's what keeps me going. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.